Okay, questions and answers today, so let's get started. The first question is from Sarah Omer. She's asking me, on writing, it's difficult sometimes to come up with supporting ideas, especially if I have no idea about the topic. What should I do in order to guarantee a high score in task 2? The minimum recommended age for Ielts is 16, which means the amount of knowledge that a 16-year-old teenager would have about the world would suffice in order to answer all the questions in Ielts. So you don't really have to be an expert on the subject matter. You can be superficial in your answers. So as long as coming up with ideas are concerned, you're actually tested on your English, not about you, not on your opinion. So that's more like it. The next question is, how can I manage time well so I can answer both tasks and still have remaining time to check my answers? Well, all I can say about this is that when you're practicing at home, you have to keep in mind the time constraint all the time that you're practicing, so that you don't end up taking more time on any of the cases when you're practicing. And so in the exam, you can also finish the 150 words in task 1 and 250 words in task 2 in that given time. The next question is on speaking. The question is, what should I do when I feel I'm out of words or out of ideas? Is there a magic story that works for all kinds of questions that I can use if I felt like I don't have something else to say? Well, you can try to use more connectives between your sentences. That will give you some extra time to think about stuff. And as far as the magic story that works for all kinds of questions is concerned, well, I don't think there is anything like that, because obviously you have to base your answers on the questions that you are asked. Also on speaking, are there things that I should not say to the examiner? If yes, like what? And how can I leave a good impression on him or her? By the way, is it okay to laugh? Try to avoid slang words, and also don't use any swear words or any kind of profanity. And about laughing, yes, of course you can laugh as long as it's reasonable, and it is a part of the whole communication. The next question is, what do you recommend in order to increase my score within the next 3 weeks to get 7 band or more? If you have scored something like 5 or 5.5 or something like that, then 3 weeks to get to 7 or something around that, I don't think it's enough time to increase in such short notice. I would suggest that you should take more time. The next question is from Rima Fahim. She's asking, I have a question regarding part 2 of the writing exam. If we get a topic where it asks us that whether we agree or disagree with a statement, do we need to discuss both aspects of it and then come up with a conclusion, or can we directly write about any one aspect? I've discussed this in a previous video of mine, but I'm gonna just explain it shortly again. You're not exactly asked whether you'd agree or disagree. It rather asks you to what extent you agree or disagree, which means that you can sort of be in the middle, or you can lean towards one aspect. But to be honest, I'd suggest that writing about the other side first and then refuting it and provide your views gives you more to write about, and it also sort of gives you makes your write-up a much better argument. The next question is it a good idea to provide examples in part 2? Yes, it is a good idea to give examples as long as they're relevant. The next question is from Abdullah. He's asked me, his comment is, getting full band in reading and overall 8.5 is not easy at all. Well, thank you. And he goes on, could you please tell us about your preparation and how did you do it? Well, Abdullah, what I can tell you is getting a perfect or near perfect score takes time. You have to have a good skill of English, and you have to prepare yourself for the exam. You have to know about the exam. I can tell you that I have taken IELTS twice. The first time in 2009, I got 7.5, and then 2 years later in 2011, I got 8.5. So your score can improve with time, and if you practice and you know about the exam, as I said, and your English has a certain level, then it is possible to get good scores. The next question is from Mahsin. May I have your email address, please? Yes, of course. My email address is learnwithsyed, altogether, Learn, WITH, with Syed, SYED, @gmail.com. Sahil Gupta asks, I have a couple of doubts regarding the IELTS test, which I would appear for in the next 2 days. Best of luck. His question is, in the listening section, I have always seen that the dialogue follows the same pattern as the questions. For instance, if there are 5 questions, the dialogue does give the answer to the question in the same sequence as the questions appear on the question paper. Yes, it does. Generally, it does. There is no fixed rule provided by the authorities about it, but from experience, it does. And the next question that he has is, as per the above mentioned, I have also seen the same in the reading section, that the answer to the first question in the first para and the second question in the text below, and so on. As I said, no fixed rules about it, but that's how it works. The answer to the first question is not necessarily in the first para, but usually towards the beginning of the reading passage. But it can be a little later on. But wherever you find it, usually the answer to the next question will follow in a sequential order. And then the last question that he is asking is, 10 minutes is provided in the listening section to copy the answers to the sheet. Is the same given for the reading section? Well, unfortunately, no. In the reading section here, you are just provided 1 hour. In that 1 hour, you have to answer all the 3 passages, and you have to copy your answer and everything in that given 60 minutes. And then he goes on, I went across your videos on YouTube, and they turned out to be real helpful. Well, thank you. The next thing he says is, I wasn't able to get these doubts clear. Well, I hope you have cleared your doubts now. Please advise. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. And that's it for today. And we're going to do some more videos about the questions that I receive soon. So all the best.